Hey there, YouTube. This is Therese Jamanowitz-Astor, and I'm broadcasting live from Sun Lakes Country Club. How is everybody doing there today? Happy to see you. It's a lovely day here in Arizona. Actually, I don't know what the temperature was, but summer started for us here already. And the subject of my dissertation for today is the local election that we're having here to endorse a set of revisions to the CCNRs and the bylaws of the Sun Lakes Country Club. And it's really interesting because in an aging population, I found that there are always those that are willing and able to prey on the elderly who don't understand, especially legal doublespeak. So I had gone to a meeting not that long ago, and trying to make myself look a little presentable here. I had gone to a meeting not that long ago where they had handed out a spreadsheet, no page numbers, because that would make it so clear, and somebody might figure out the crap that they're trying to pull over people, pull on people. But anyway, so the gist of these revisions was that there were several areas where there was mention of, and the board has the right to change anything that they want to, whenever they want to, because, they're the board, right? And there was also one, this is so cute, there was one provision that the association, the homeowners association, meaning the board or the employees of the association, could at any point in time come onto any homeowner's property for whatever reason that they determined would be appropriate. And I have a friend of mine who lives not too far away, and she said, that's all right. She said, because they come on my property, I shoot them, and then they send somebody else, and I shoot them too, and then eventually there'll be no association, and then there'll be no problem. Which I thought was kind of a cute way to look at it, but the fact of the matter is that the overreach of this board that is being headed by this woman named Janice Cornire, who, by the way, a few years ago we actually hired an attorney to get rid of the board, and she was on that board. So at this meeting, I said, by show of hands, would you mind raising your hand if you were one of the people who was on the board that we threw out when we hired the attorneys to get rid of the previous board? And she got quite upset and said, it was me, but I've been the president now for 2 years and people like me. And of course, all the snowbirds who don't know what's going on because they're only here for a couple of months and then they're on the golf course or enjoying themselves, so they really have no idea how their money is being thrown away frivolously. Everybody starts to clap, and I think I made some quip like, hold your applause until I'm finished. Because that's just the way I am. But really what they're trying to do is to basically set it up so that the homeowners pay the mortgages and then they control the property. And I, for one, am not going to allow that to happen. And I don't think that many people, if they actually understood the truth of what the association is trying to do and is misleading people about, would condone or consent to. So that's the reason I decided that I would approach a situation that I see happening. When I was younger, and the baby boomer generation that I'm a part of was being spoken about, that all of a sudden there'll be all of these people aging at the same time, all of us baby boomers. The worry was that we'd all be aging together, we'd all put an unfair tax and when I say tax, I don't mean something like the IRS would levy, but taxing the infrastructure of the healthcare system and of other systems that exist. And by far, I would imagine that we are doing that. However, when one looks at the fact that the money is being largely mishandled by the federal government, by the state governments, by anybody who considers themselves to have any right to dictate to any other lower class of people beneath them, and they get that consent just because people are so brainwashed now to not question authority. My own feeling about why that happens is they put fluoride in the toothpaste, they put fluoride in the water. Fluoride happens to be a very toxic substance that leaves people lethargic. It was used by Hitler in the concentration camps. It's something that when they actually add that fluoride to the water, they have to wear hazmat suits. And it's a waste product that is, I believe, comes from the aluminum industry and probably a lot to do with aircraft manufacture. So they would have to get rid of that. It's a toxic waste. So they decided, let's just put it in the water and we'll tell everybody it's good for their teeth and whatever, which is absolutely not true. I think San Diego County for a long time stood their ground and said, no, we're not going to allow fluoride in our water. And then the feds said, well, then we're going to cut your funding, San Diego County. And then San Diego County finally just, caved in to what was going on with the feds. And so now they have fluoride there as well. But anyway, it doesn't do anything of positive, that's positive for the human body. The other thing is GMOs. I mean, now you walk into a supermarket, it's almost impossible to find something that is not genetically modified. Case in point, I went into Subway today because I like Subway sandwiches, right? I used to love tuna, but I won't eat tuna anymore because the oceans are now irradiated and I don't necessarily want to glow in the dark any more than I do now. But I went into Subway because I was hungry. I didn't feel like going home and cooking. So when I went in, I said to the guy behind the counter, hey, by the way, are you guys still using plastic in your bread? And he said, no, we stopped doing that. He said, by the way, it was edible plastic. And I said, let me just tell you something. There is no such thing as edible plastic. Get with it. Just because you work for a company and they tell you, just tell them it's edible plastic. There's no such thing as edible plastic. Plastic in and of itself has no reason to be in food. If God wanted plastic in food, he would have put it there himself. He didn't need the petroleum industry because plastic is an offshoot of petroleum. So let's get real. There's no reason for bread to have plastic in it. But anyway, so Subway apparently does not have plastic anymore in their bread. So I got a sandwich at Subway. We'll see if I die tomorrow. I don't plan on dying, but I may not feel very well because I don't drink anything that has fluoride in it. Pardon me while I get rid of a pop-up from Apple software that just popped up. I don't drink anything that has fluoride in it. I don't eat anything that has GMO. I try to eat totally organic. And so now we come to number 3, the poison in the air, the chemtrails. And there are people out there who seemingly are intelligent who would say, those are only contrails. Jets leave contrails. Well, you know what? I was in the airline industry. I retired after about 28 years from the airline industry. And all the time that I was in the airline industry, I have got to tell you, there was never a contrail that spread out and turned into a cloud that then blocked the sun and stayed there for a 24-hour period. Doesn't happen. A contrail will dissipate. It's water vapor. It creates steam and it just goes away. Another thing, the new jet engines do not create contrails. Things that are up in the sky that leave lines are coming out of wingtips of aircraft are being sprayed intentionally, and those things are geoengineering. There are probably 150 patents for geoengineering in the United States. None of them are health affirming. All of them are negative to human health, human life, animal life, and the life of our planet. So we're dealing with that as well. When one looks at the gravity of what is happening, one has got to sit back and say, no more can I live in la la land and say nothing. I have got to wake up and I have got to say, not only is my generation important and the earth that I live on, but 7 future generations are counting on us right now to not only open our eyes, but to open our mouths and say no. It will stop now. And I am hoping that in this series of videos that I am going to be putting up on YouTube and on Facebook and on Reddit and on whatever else I can put it up on, I will get as much of a viewership who will at least decide personally to not just believe what I say, but to do some research and find out for themselves that they are being poisoned like rats. So with that, I will say I hope you have a wonderful day tomorrow. I will continue to broadcast from different locations here in Sun Lakes. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me at PlaneLadyRetired, PLANELADY retired @yahoo.com. Okay, have a great day. Bye-bye.